Guys, it's Wade from 7 p.m. prayer, letting out Spencer's chickens for the last time on this trip. We're getting ready to head out, and we might, Ranger and I, just be headed to the Montana property. We'll see. There was a big freeze up there, so there's not going to be a cherry crop, but we might just be headed up there anyway. We'll find out. Anyway, I wanted to talk about how, in that Matthew 21:3, I believe, is where Jesus is on his way into Jerusalem, and he tells his disciples to go get this donkey and its colt. And if anybody says to you, "What are you doing?" just say the Lord has need of them, and they'll let you have it, no questions asked. It's reading stuff like that I don't know, it just makes me really feel good about God paying attention to the small things. I know that something like that where, remember also the story, and I don't know where this one is, where Peter comes up to Jesus and says, "Hey, something to the effect of, did we pay our taxes?" And Jesus is like, "Well, go catch a fish and there'll be a coin in its mouth and it'll be enough for your taxes and mine." I mean, if that's not controlling the small things, I don't know what is. So I think we all find ourselves in positions at different times where we feel like, there's aspects of my life that are going unnoticed. And maybe we've put the prayers out there, maybe we haven't. And we think that somehow God's forgotten us. And it's this little stories like that it wasn't a big thing that God accomplished, but it is a big thing. It's a demonstration that God's paying attention to it all, and that it's all going to go the way He needs it to go. So, can you imagine in the Bible if Peter had gone to try to catch that fish, or how about the disciples running to that donkey and the guys ask him what's up, and they tell him, and they're like, "Well, you're not taking that donkey." And now there's like some kind of a big brouhaha between the disciples and some people in Jerusalem. So anyway, just great stuff. So anyway, I just felt like talking about that today, because I know that all of us have a lot of, oftentimes it's the smallest things. We're pretty good about praying about the really big things. We're, in some cases, even better, I think, at trusting God on the big things. And part of that is because we have a faith that if we've prayed hard about something, that, that's going to make a difference. And we are asked to pray, and it does make a difference. But it's always a lot of, "Hi, chickens." There they are. And unfortunately, there are only 2 because my dog Ranger has killed the rest of the chickens, and so we're down to 2. And Spencer is good enough to let Ranger run around, and then I let the chickens out. So we got a good relationship there. And there's a bunch of new baby chickens on the way. Make sure that rooster isn't going to try to get me. And so hoping to get Ranger all dialed in where we have no future Spencer problems, because I want Spencer and his family's life to go good, and I want their chickens' life to go good. And I'm praying for Ranger to either stop liking chicken or, just kind of overcome some of that fall behavior of hers, When God made dogs, He didn't make him to go out and kill chickens, right? Ranger needs to step up, for sure. She's a great dog, though. But I want you to get it in your head that God cares about your small stuff, okay? He does. And at the same time, it's not about everything being easy for you, all right? We all want life to be totally easy. We all want to see like a graph showing our life, and it starts here and it's just straight up, and everything's perfect all the time. And isn't that the way it should be if God's looking out for us? Well, not if we're going to learn anything. So anyway, when you come up against those challenges, thank God for them. Thank Him that He's there, right there with you. And Thank him that he pays attention to all the small things in your life and he cares about you. So maybe you watched that video I did a while back. I don't know. You know, there's so few people that see these videos right now, which is totally cool. If there's just one of you seeing this, you matter to me. I do it all just for you. But remember, I planted a bunch of potatoes, and I planted those potatoes in the ground. That's what you do. You just put the potato in there and it grows. So here's the deal. Those little guys right there are a bunch of flowers that came back up. They're zinnias that are supposed to keep the bugs away, or animals too. I got a bunch of peppers here that I planted, and they're starting to produce. Here are those potatoes that I buried, right here. All that. Unbelievable. And you're not going to believe how many potatoes that is. I got to get in good with the neighbors on that deal. How about this? Here's my herb garden that you saw me plant, right? So that thing is looking awesome. And I did this, you know, trial. Matter of fact, I need to grab those tomatoes before I head out. I wanted to see if, you know, the tomato plant was a plant that the bugs bothered last year, and then none of the herbs got bothered. So I thought I would try putting a tomato plant in with the herbs and see if the bad smell of the herbs would keep everything away from the tomatoes, and it looks like it's working. So anyway, the interesting thing about the whole deal is evidently, look at this guy down here. I don't know if you can see me pointing. This is where cilantro was. So evidently something around here really likes cilantro, because there is nothing left of it. There's parsley right next to it, all kinds of stuff, but the cilantro is gone. So 3 things. 1, God cares about your small stuff. 2, all Christians praying together at 7 p.m., right? We're going to unify. We're going to put our power to work. We're going to make a difference. That's all there is to it. 3, I appreciate you.